Alright, this is John Colo with okraw.com to do another exciting episode for you. In this episode, we're going to answer your guys' questions. We got a bunch of questions, and if you do have a question that you'd like me to answer, I'll put a link down below to my community tab here on YouTube, and you can post your question there. That may get selected for next month's Q&A. In any case, let's get on with this month's questions. Alright, first question is from Cha Ching. Hi John, how long can you store juice in the fridge with your vacuum blender? And what will do better than the Omega? I want to thank you for making videos and educating those who will listen. After watching one of your videos a few years ago, I purchased an Omega NC800. At that time I was type 2 diabetic, high blood pressure, triglycerides over 300, wow, and severe COPD with less than a year to live. Oh my gosh. Since becoming a vegan and raw, I've lost 55 pounds, no longer diabetic, blood pressure is 112/62 average, triglycerides 75, 10 points below recommended, and no longer use a CPAP machine. I would have been horizontal if I haven't found you. Thanks for motivating me. Your videos saved my life. Take care and keep preaching the healthy gospel, David. All right, thank you, David. I appreciate that. I'm glad I could make a difference in the world. You know, my life was saved. I can only say through higher powers, and I'm glad to, spread the message, spread what I've learned to others so that they could also lead a healthy lifestyle, because powers that be are simply not telling us to eat healthy, unfortunately. All right, so how long can you store juices in the fridge with your vacuum blender, and what will do better than the Omega? So I'm not sure what you mean by, so I could vacuum juice in my blender, in my vacuum blender, and then because I have not imparted oxygen in the blending process, very little actually, because I get a little bit out when I'm squeezing it, that juice tends to store longer than a slow juicer. How much longer? I mean, I don't know. I don't really recommend storing it more than 5 days or maybe even 7 days maximum if you have a really good vacuum pump that pulls 20 inches of mercury. I know mine pulls 20 inches of mercury. I don't know what other vacuum pumps pull. Basically, the more vacuum you could pull, the more oxygen is removed, and I believe less oxidation happens, and also you'll get less of certain kind of bacterial growth. You know, the bacteria that likes to live in an oxygen-rich environment, and or molds and other things that can grow in your juices. That being said, for best results, I'm not going to fib. I always tell you guys to drink your juices, eat your food right after you make it. Of course, some of you guys have lives and get busy in jobs, so then I make juice in advance, because I can't sit there and juice every single day, but I could juice, one day for juice for the next week, which I can do. So since you have an NC800 that's a slow juicer, I mean, Omega just says you could store the juices 3 days without even vacuum storing it. I would always encourage you guys to vacuum store your juices. I have plenty of videos on that topic so you guys could learn more. That being said, honestly, best is make it when you need to drink it. All right, next question is from Ben Hinson. I saved up and bought a Blendtec blender with the hopes of getting their vacuum jar you've advertised. Good or bad news? Can you please give an update on the product future availability? I really appreciate the work you put into making this product. All right, Ben, I apologize, man. I never knew what was going to happen with Blendtec when I started working with them. I drove up there even, and it was at the Blendtec headquarters for a solid day and basically filmed from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. or 9 p.m. or something crazy, and I made a bunch of videos, and none of those videos will ever air. What happened was, unfortunately, Tom Dixon, who is famous because of the Will It Blend series, who would put iPhones in blenders and all these things, he was the CEO, and he founded and started Blendtec. Due to many reasons that I don't really know them all, he was basically ousted from the company, so he is no longer involved with the company. They took his keys to the building, and there's new owners. And the new owners, as far as I'm aware, hearing through second hand, is that they're not coming out with their vacuum blending system that Tom basically created. What they are recommending instead is another system that is also associated with the Blendtec company, but a separate company. It's void-system.com. It's a vacuum lid that will fit on any Blendtec container. I think it's the large container, maybe the smaller container too, the 64 ounce or 96 ounce. Now here's the thing, I tested 2 of those lids already. Both of them were defective. I sent them back, so I'm waiting for the third one to come to me. So while that is available, they're being hand assembled, and I'm not 100% confident of the quality control at this time. if and when I do feel confident about them, I will make videos about them and promote them and potentially sell them. But there's a lot of, working out with the company that's promoting them and making them. I don't feel comfortable with that product yet, but I'm letting you guys know because that's what is available right now at present time for Blendtec. All right, next question is from Alex. Recently, a non-vegan friend from out of town stayed with us for a week. We all ate an abundance of fresh fruits and vegetables, plus Beyond Burger plant-based burgers and sausages. On the last day, my friend said he had a craving for meat and walked 2 blocks to a Jack in the Box to eat cheeseburgers. John, please tell us your opinion. Is there anything we can offer in such situations that can prevent or alleviate a craving for meat? Thank you, and may the Most High bless you in every way. All right, so I'm not the person asked to stave off cravings for meat because I personally don't have any cravings for meat, as you probably don't either. Now, what I've heard from people in the past, vegans in the past, is that if you're ever in a craving for meat, you're probably craving, and he went to Jack in the Box, you're probably really craving like salt, fat, and sugar. So maybe buy Beyond Burger and get some like super sweet dressing, or maybe get the Impossible Burger. They even sell those to the home people. I think one of those ones bleed. I don't really know which ones. But, sauce it up with like extra salt and sugar and even use some vegan cheese on there. Make it super unhealthy vegan and see if that'll satisfy their cravings. I mean, the other thing is, I'm not here to try to like get anybody to eat plant-based. I'm sharing what I do, and if people want to eat plant-based and more plants because they know it's healthier for them, great. If they want to go ahead and eat Jack in the Box, that's great too. I don't think that's good for the planet or they're good for the people that are doing it. But, people are going to do what they're going to want to do. And, that's it. So, but what I would do if it was like my friend, and they wanted to go to Jack in the Box, I would try to like feed them first here. So like give them a salad. Well, hey, why don't you have something here before you go to Jack in the Box? Feed them a salad, feed them all kinds of different things and see if I can fill them up enough so that after when they're done eating, they'll be like, oh, I don't really feel like going to Jack in the Box now. And maybe if they do go to Jack in the Box, instead of getting like the quarter pounder, if they have quarter pounders at Jack in the Box, they'll get just one small cheeseburger because I've already filled them up on the good stuff. And that's what I recommend for a lot of you guys. If you guys still have cravings for McDonald's or, Jack in the Box or Burger King, eat a lot of healthy stuff like fresh fruits and vegetables dominated and fill yourself up on that, and then eat, buy a cheeseburger and cut it in half and eat half a cheeseburger, man, or a quarter cheeseburger. Come on. Everybody knows those are junk foods. They're not good for us. But people have their cravings, and, that's just what it is. All right, so next question is from Stephanie Lynn. Hi, just found your channel. Do you have any meal plan recipes for beginners? Sorry, I've never made a meal plan book or any kind of meal plan. It's just not what I do. Like, I really want everybody watching this to like eat really seasonally and be creative with your mind and be able to create things based on what you have ripe. I have ripe peppers here in my garden. I have all kinds of different, basil and water spinach and water pepper and rosemary and eggplants, and I could just basically come out here and create something. Usually it's a soup or a salad, or I could just, harvest some like collard greens for juice or whatever, and I just make things up on the spur of the moment out of my head based on what I have in my fridge, what I have ripe in my garden, and more importantly, what I feel like eating, what I feel from my intuition, the food that I need that will benefit me most at that time. And that's how I eat. So I know, especially if you're getting started, it's hard to kind of be intuitive like that. It's taken me many years to kind of come up with this. So what I would recommend is Raw Food Romance, Lissa, put a link down below to her Instagram and also her YouTube channel. And she has, I would recommend her recipe book number 3, which actually has menu planning for 30 days. You'll eat 3 different meals every day for 30 days. It has shopping lists. It has everything. And I could definitely approve of her recipes. They're like, they're raw, but they're not like, like unhealthy raw. They're not like super clean raw where it doesn't taste good. It's kind of like a nice balance, kind of similar to what I would eat maybe a few years ago. Now I've upped my game and, I make videos on how I eat now, but most people might not want to eat how I eat nowadays. So yeah, that's what I'd recommend. Raw Food Romance. Check her out. She has 40% off on her ebooks. I'll put a link down below. It's I think it's like payhip.com/rawfoodromance. something like that. All right. Next question is from Garib Al Garuba. Horses eat nothing but greens, and greens still show in their stools. I recently found out that is normal to see things such as cherry skins and bell pepper skins in our stools because it is not digestible. That's from the book, The Anti-Medicine. So what about greens? Been raw vegan for 3 years now and eating probiotic foods and taking probiotic foods, but still see traces of greens I ate the night before my stool. Some raw vegans say it is normal, but I think otherwise, since now I'm doing everything right, and even with horses whose stomachs are made to break down greens, you can still see traces of it. All right, so all I could say is that while we may not be able to digest things, our microbiome can. And I mean, what I'll say is this. To make sure you don't see anything in your stools, number one, you got to make sure you chew it really good, right? Like my friends will eat a salad and they'll be done eating their salad, and I'll take twice as long as they're taking to eat their salad because I chew everything into mush. If you don't want to chew everything in mush, that's all right. Get a vacuum blender and vacuum blend everything into mush. If you vacuum blend everything into mush, you won't see any particles left in your stool. If you're seeing particles left in your stool, it's because you didn't chew it into mush so that it's not small enough so that our bacteria and our digestive system can extract the nutrients out of it. And that's basically it. And the other thing I'd say is also, there's all kinds of different bacteria that I don't even know all of them. And each of them like different kinds of foods. And if you're just eating like sauerkraut all the time, that's great. You got the probiotics that live on the sauerkraut. But I take, different kinds of supplements. Dr. Who's Probiotic 10 Plus is probably my favorite. Like food supplement, which is basically just fermented vegetables and fruits in a capsule. But I take other kind of probiotics as well that have different kinds of benefits, and those bacteria eat different kinds of foods. But yeah, so I would say that I personally rarely see any greens in my stool. Maybe I'm abnormal, or maybe I just chew well and have good microbiota. I don't exactly know. But yeah, so I would say vacuum blend everything or chew better. And yeah, you got to learn how to chew better because nobody really teaches that in raw foods. I think I have videos on it on conscious eating that I made 10 years ago. All right. Next question is from Jail and Sills. Do you ever eat sprouted lentils or any other sprouted legumes? Why or why not? All right, Jail. So I'll be completely honest. I eat sprouted lentils and few other sprouted legumes like mung beans. I don't think those are actually lentils technically. When I go to Hippocrates and they make them for me. If I go to a friend's house and they have sprouted lentils, I will eat those. I won't not eat them. I think they're absolutely healthy. But here's the thing. I'm kind of lazy and I don't sprout my lentils. I'll sprout buckwheat, but I don't do lentils for some reason. Not exactly sure why, but I will cook some lentils. So I've been using these lentils called urad dal. They're black. I get them organic at the Indian market. I don't know if you could buy those even just at a Whole Foods. I've never seen them anywhere. So you got to get them from an Indian market. And they have the highest levels of omega-3 fatty acids. I suppose I should be sprouting those because that'd be best. But man, call me lazy. I can't do everything. I grow garden and I do so many other things. But yeah, maybe if I find a partner one day that wants to do the sprouting and microgreens growing, I'll be on board. Let's see. Other legumes can be quite toxic if they are sprouted. So choose them carefully and wisely and make sure it is something that is not toxic to eat if sprouted. Many legumes may need to be cooked. I was formerly cooking legumes and then fermenting them, but that's just too long of a process. And, my diet isn't like a legume-based diet. I try to get maybe a scoop of legumes along with my salad, some days, but not even every day. I believe beans can be quite beneficial for our health. And I want all the raw food that's out there to eat them one way or another. If you're not going to eat them cooked like I do sometimes, sprout them by all means and make sure you sprout the right ones that are safe. Next question is from Luigi Galliani. How do you prepare mushrooms? So I prepare mushrooms by simply putting them in the pressure cooker, setting the pressure cooker on manual for 3 minutes and letting it go to town. Once they're done cooking, then I let them cool down. I will generally either put them in a recipe immediately, which usually doesn't happen, but usually what happens is I then put them in a jar, vacuum seal it, put it in my fridge, and the next day usually I then will make a big recipe like a salad or a soup recipe, take them out, and then I might chop them up manually, or if I'm really lazy that day, I might put them through the food processor with a slicing blade to just slice them all up, and then they basically go into my super salad. I currently have about 2.5 pounds of lion's mane, which is good for your brain. It's an amazing mushroom. Got at the local farmer's market that I'll be using this week. I'll probably use like 1.5 pounds in my soup that I'll be making really soon. Next question is from Heidi. How can I ensure I get enough calories for a predominantly raw diet if I'm very active? So that's a good question, Heidi. So here's the thing, for calories, two main sources that people normally get them from on a raw foods diet: fruit or fat. Fat's easy because it's concentrated calories and you can eat a bunch of nuts and seeds and all this stuff, or even oil, which I don't recommend. But I personally, well, it depends. If you're on a keto, vegan, raw diet, that's what your choices are. Now, if you're on a high carb diet, then you're going to probably go to the fruit and eat a high fruit diet, and make sure you eat enough sweet fruits that are high calories. So things like mangoes, bananas, and dates are higher calories that you could chomp on and get more calories in you. Now, personally, my opinion is that eating high calorie fruit like bananas and mangoes and dates, persimmons are kind of high too, it's not optimal, because while you are getting your calories, you're eating, in general, very low nutrient dense foods, meaning it might have a lot of calories but not a lot of different phytochemicals and phytonutrients. So there are some in there, of course, I'm not going to deny that, but I'd rather eat something like berries that are a lot more nutritious, or even just like smaller fruits. I was eating like my black goji berries, which are basically calorie poor but phytonutrient off the charts. Now, the other thing, those are the common methods, but what I do is I concentrate my calories by removing some, but not all the fiber, by juicing. So, I could take 4 pounds of vegetables, even carrots, for example, juice 4 pounds of carrots and have 4 cups or 1 quart of carrot juice. And basically I'll have as many calories as bananas if I was to eat bananas, but I will have a lot more phytonutrients. If I remember, I'll put a link down below to the video I made, eating raw bananas versus carrot juice, and why I would choose carrot juice every single time. And even better if you could buy purple carrots near you and just use purple carrot juice, because that's way off the charts, dude. Like, seriously, that's rich in anthocyanins, and that's, man, give me purple carrot juice any day that I made fresh myself over bananas. I will do it. And I guess the other thing is, if you're having problems doing that, can't juice, dried fruits is always an option, but I don't recommend dried fruits because it's just, concentrated calories. But it depends how active you are, So, those are some of the options. I drink, sometimes 2 to 4 32-ounce juices a day. Just kind of depends on my day and what I'm doing. And that allows me to get sufficient calories on the go and quick and easy. Of course, I spend a lot of time juicing too. All right, next question is from Healing with Denise. Hi, John. I was wondering what your thoughts are on eating a biologically appropriate frugivore-based diet focusing on fruits and greens. There are educators such as Doug Graham who believe this is the optimal diet for humans, but it seems that you do not eat based on that theory. It seems as though you focus more on diversity of plant foods. I would love to know your thoughts. All right, so I would agree that biologically we are frugivorous creatures. That being said, just because we are frugivorous creatures, does that mean we need to eat our diet specific to us, right? Look at dogs. Dogs are basically carnivores if you look at their teeth and their digestive system, but there are studies that show even though they make their own vitamin C, they absorb vitamin C from the foods they eat. They have adapted to, eating more than just the meat. And actually my little dog, he eats mostly plants with some amounts of meat in there to make sure he's getting all his nutrient needs met. And so for human beings, there's books written on this subject now. There's some people out there in the fruit community that says, our brains develop because of eating fruit. Other schools of camp would say our brains grew because of eating meat. I don't think that's right. Other camps, which I believe is more accurate according to, like looking at archaeology and all this stuff, is that, we really got big brains and all this stuff because we started eating and cooking our food, right? Michael Pollan wrote a book on cooking and all this stuff. So, while we are designed to eat fruit, we can process other foods if appropriately prepared. That's the key there. And even, some people in the raw foods camps would say we should not be eating large kale leaves. Only the baby greens is what we really should be eating because we could digest those really easily, And so my personal thoughts is that although we're designed this way, is that the healthiest way to live? Because my goal is not to like live biologically appropriately. I mean, that's great if that's your goal and that's what you want to do. But my personal opinion is that I do not believe I'll have the highest level of health by doing that, because I will be limiting my diet so much just to fruits and greens, which is very limited in the scope of things. There are plenty of scientific published study articles that shows the benefits of, eating things like garlic and onions, eating things like beans, for example, eating things like mushrooms. And, maybe we're not designed to eat those things, but we can process them appropriately. Beans should be optimally soaked, sprouted, and then cooked in a pressure cooker to reduce some of the toxins in there. Because sure as heck, if you ate some of them raw like kidney beans, you could lose your life. So that being said, most of my diet is vegetables these days. I just had a meal of actually peaches, about a half dozen peaches. But before that, I had a 32 ounce of green juice. And then I had my turmeric, ginger, ginseng. Actually, that also had sugar cane and grape in it today, with also cinnamon, pepper, and cloves. And rosemary and oregano from my garden. Those are the last two from my garden. So I think diversity is key. And if you look at the emerging science, especially having to do with microbiome, it's really talking about the diversity of plants and, more importantly, the diversity of fiber. And if you're eating biologically appropriate, that's great. You may not have certain gut bacteria that influences our immune system. Now, here's the thing. I almost lost my life because of an autoimmune type condition. And, I'm not playing around. It's great if you want to be biologically appropriate. I'm doing my diet for my health. And, I'm glad if other people in the raw foods community have different opinions than me. On my channel, of course, I share what I believe and what I believe to be true. Of course, I've also been doing this for 26 years. And I've learned a lot of things along the way. And I've modified my approach based on new emerging science and things that make sense to me. Eating biologically appropriate makes sense to you, and what I'm doing is totally hogwash. But here's the thing. I want you guys to be 100% confident in the diet you're eating, because the diet you're eating will affect your future health outcome. Whether that's for longevity or whether that's for, being young, longer, and youthing and all these things, right? I'm doing what I believe to be the best for me and to have the best health outcome that I desire. I wish well of all of you guys, and once again, on my channel, I share what I am doing, and I'm just being transparent, letting you guys know, and that's what it is, and that's my opinions on that. I mean, just like there's so many things in life that are designed for one thing that we may use it for something else. A screwdriver, flathead screwdriver is meant for turning out flathead screws, but you could put in a Phillips screw and extract that too sometimes, There's so many things that I think could have multi-purpose. And the other thing about being, a multi-purpose is that plants, right, in nature, right, they are adaptive creatures. Animals in nature, they are adaptive. They may be designed to do this. I mean, panda bears, they digest like some of the hardest like bamboo stuff. So they've adapted to eat bamboo over all these years. And likewise, humans have been on the planet for a long time, and we have adapted, to be a little bit different. And based on the science, it's telling me that, maybe, eating small amounts of some of these foods that we're adapted to could be healthier. Now, yeah, I know I'll get people that are disagreeing with me, and that's great. I'm not here to convince you of anything. I'm just here to share with you guys what I do if you want to follow me. And if not, you could follow somebody else in their dietary pattern. Once again, just make sure what you're doing, you have 100% confidence in what they are teaching to give you the results you actually desire. All right. So our next question is from Drew E. What do you know about the possible foreign bacteria and parasites you can get from unwashed imported fruit? All right, Drew. So all I know is that imported fruit in the U.S., I feel to be fairly safe. The USDA has specific standards for fruit importation, and it must be pre-treated in certain ways depending on the fruit, right? They've done their research on what kind of like fruit flies and things could come in, and they have methods that has to happen to certain imported fruit that may harbor bad things on them. So for example, mangoes are hot water dipped. Many tropical fruits, especially imported from Vietnam, are irradiated. Irradiation kills whatever parasites and bacteria on there, so now you have a sterile food. Also probably deranges the cells and some of the nutrients in the food as well. And And so here's the thing, and if I buy tropical imported fruit, number one, I'm going to wash it. Number two, in most cases, I'm not going to eat the peel either. And that's what I would recommend for you guys as well, just to be safe. I mean, I know a lot of nutrients in the peel sometimes, but I mean, if I want to eat something with the peel, then I'm going to travel somewhere in the world and visit farms and buy fruit directly from them and see how they grew it and talk to them, or better yet, just pick it off the tree myself. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to say. I mean, and if you're super paranoid, like some people out there, you know, there are methods that you could use to basically process your fruit to kill bacteria on it. You know, I have an ozone generating produce washing machine that I could put things in and ozonate them and basically vibrate them, ultrasonic vibrate them while it's being ozonated if I want to kill everything on there. So yeah, lots of options out there. Hope that helps you out. All right, next question is from Tony Peterson. What nut milk bag should I get because we can't get the Blendtec? All right, so the Blendtec bags are no longer. They will be rebranded, and hopefully within, I don't know, 30 days, I should be able to offer them to you guys. That being said, I would just check on Amazon for a good, reputable nut milk bag. They'll all work. I have not tested any other bags. All right, next question is from Love Peace. Hi, you mentioned about making a video about coconut coir when you interviewed Del Toro. I think you meant El Toro. How to grow an enormous vegetable garden with very little work, but I can't find a video about it yet. Do you know which video it is in if you've made one? Thank you. All right, so I was talking about El Toro Loco. He has a microgreens business where he basically grows microgreens, and all his flats, after he's done harvesting his microgreens, are grown in coconut coir with a bunch of seeds that are left over in there. And then he takes that coconut coir and then just spreads it out on his garden on top in his pots, and then he gets all these plants coming up automatically. He's given me some of that coconut coir, but I was going to make a video on his microgreens growing operation that I have not made yet. Hopefully one of these days I will. All right, next question is from Christine Louise. Yes, hi. Would you be willing to sell some of the produce you grow? I believe you mentioned in a previous video that you live in Vegas, so do I. I would also love to learn more about how you grow food in this desert climate. Thank you. All right, Christine, sorry, I do not sell any produce that I grow. It is all for personal use and consumption. I would recommend the local farmers markets. Let's see. I mean, it's hard to find truly local produce. There's a few mushroom growers and some microgreens growers, but other than that, there's not many growers that actually grow produce to sell. I would visit Gilcrease Orchard, but they're kind of closing up for the season. I guess the other thing I'd say is you could also go to the Friday Farmers Market downtown, and there's like one grower that grows locally, although the other one imports stuff from California. So yeah, and then to learn about gardening, that's what I teach you guys on my YouTube channel, Growing Your Greens, so you guys could learn all about it. I have videos on where to get the best soil in Las Vegas, you know, what plant starts to buy, what to grow in different seasons so that you'll be successful, how to set up an irrigation system, and how I even set up my garden from start to finish here in Las Vegas. I mean, everything's all green around me and just super radiant. Last question is from Angela Perry. I have a few questions, and a few questions for her is 10, so let's go through these. Number one, from start to finish, what does a day in my life look like for you? All right, so I wake up. Depends. I don't wake up with an alarm clock. Today I think I woke up at like 7 a.m. Sometimes I wake up at 5:30 to 7 a.m. generally. And then once I get up, then I'll go and I usually pee. And then I might drink usually like 16 ounces of water. And then I will go under my red light therapy and also do a machine that increases my blood circulation. And that's for about a half hour to an hour. And while I'm doing that, I'm generally listening to some YouTube videos on my subscription feed. And then after that is done, then I'll get up and then I'll work for a few hours, generally 2 to 4 hours. I'll be on the computer working in the morning. And then after that, then I have free time. So then I'll assess the situation. If I have enough juices in my fridge, then I won't make juice. If I don't have enough juices in my fridge, like my green juice minimally and my turmeric root shot with ginseng and ginger, I'll make that. Maybe if I don't have enough salads in there or soups for my meal that day or for future days, then I'll make a big recipe and I might spend 1 to 2 hours preparing food in my outdoor kitchen, in my backyard, in my garden. If I have all the food prep done, like today I had all that food prep done, I basically just came out to the garden and actually did dishes from the day before, because sometimes I'll let the dishes sit and just soak them overnight. If it's late in the day, if it's early in the day, then I wash them immediately. So then I have to wash them, and then I have to like dump out 5 gallon buckets of water, because I basically have an outdoor sink that I collect the water in the buckets, and then I shuffle the buckets around in my garden to water my plants with the reused water from washing my dishes, so I can be more efficient and sustainable on the planet. Also gives me some good muscles. You know, I think a pound of water is what, like 7 or 11 pounds or something. So they're pretty good sized buckets. That's how I get some good exercise. And then let's see. And then after that, then I will garden. So today I gardened. You know, I could be harvesting things. I could be cutting things back. I could be planting, just any kind of gardening stuff. And then usually I might go in and then I'll eat lunch. So today I ate my lunch about, I think it was 1:30 or so. I had like a 32-ounce jar of my salad. It's like a Mexican salad, no fat, from nuts and seeds. It just had avocado as a source of fat, and also like it was a mango, bell pepper, hot pepper dressing. That was quite good, and with onions and, you know, cucumbers and tomatoes from my garden. Yeah, so it's quite good. And then let's see, after that was 1:30. Then I did some more gardening. And then after that, then I answered some emails, and then I came back and did a little more gardening, and now I'm making a video for you guys. Oh, before this video though, I ate like 6 peaches. Oh, I forgot to mention, after working, or during working, I also drank my turmeric ginger shot with ginseng and all the things I mentioned before, like 8 ounces, and then also drank my 32-ounce green juice. And then I worked for a little bit until 1:30, and that's when I had my salad. And then probably around 4:30 or so, that's when I had my fruit meal of like 6 peaches. And then after this, I'll go inside and maybe edit the video, answer a few more emails, and by that time it's going to be dark, and I'll kick back and probably watch some Netflix and chill. Might answer some more emails, maybe call a friend up or something, edit my video, post my Instagram. And then some days, like tomorrow, you know, instead of like doing all the morning stuff, I basically go out shopping all morning. You know, go to 2 different farms, or 1 or 2 different farms, and then go to like different stores to source produce, go to the plant nursery to buy plants, and then come home and I get to plant them and do more gardening. And then probably around 9 or 10 is when I start getting ready for bed. I might, you know, I then floss my teeth, brush my teeth, take some supplements that I take in my evening, drink 16 ounces of water, and then I maybe do a little bit of work, and then I go to bed. Hopefully that's around between 10 and 11:30 is the goal. Sometimes it's later, and sometimes I just, you know, fall asleep earlier. So that's good. So that's my average day. So let's see. Do you have a monthly, quarterly, or annual health promoting habits? All right, so I know some people like might fast at the season change and all these things. You know, like here's the thing, like number one, I'll never remember to do those things unless maybe I had a partner that was reminding me, and one day, when and if I have a partner, I hope to do those things with her together. But currently I just try to like eat cleanly and healthy, so I don't have to like do any kind of like annual health promoting habits. I just try to do those on a daily basis and implement those into every day of mine. So, you know, I'll do red light therapy, I do intermittent fasting, but basically my eating window is only from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily, but today I didn't even start eating, or actually in this case drinking my juice, until about 11, because I was so busy working. I forgot to drink anything, and I wasn't really that hungry until 11, so I'll probably eat from only 11 to 8, might go to 8:30, give myself a little bit of leniency. So I intermittent fast every day, or a restricted feeding window. I also do red light therapy and some other things. I try to just work it into my day, because it's great to like, you know, do things quarterly or monthly and all these things, but like I think I'm gonna get a better bang for the buck by doing it on a regular basis, eating cleanly regularly, you know, and not trying to like clean up my diet every month or something, because I'm already eating clean as I can. I think I have the big challenge lately with maybe eating a bit later at night due to emotional reasons, so I'm, you know, working through that myself. Let's see, how often do you fast? Not often enough is the answer. So I basically, a lot of my diet, depending on the day, could be juices. So some days I almost like juice fast and eat maybe 1 meal, if that, because I drink a lot of juice, because I always have lots of juice available. Some days, if I'm so busy, I might just only drink juice. I do need to do some water fasting. It has been on my list, But you know, here's the thing with water fasting: it could be a pro and a con depending on how long you're going for. I totally think that you could deplete yourself by over fasting yourself, and you could cause damage for sure. I think water fasting, when done appropriately, could be quite helpful for a period of time. And you know, I'd much rather opt to juice fast. Currently, I haven't done anything in quite a while. And once again, I'd like to have a partner so that we could do these things together and we could motivate each other. Because otherwise, I like to eat, man. All right. But once again, half my day, my first half of the day is juice anyways. And then the other half is like I'm sleeping. And then I eat maybe like 2 meals mainly, you know, of food during the day. So yeah. What is my number one juicer? So that depends on the day. But generally right now I've been using the Nama J2 the most because it is a new and interesting juicer. And I kind of like it on some levels, although I'm not a biggest fan of cleaning it, but it's really easy to use because you just throw everything in there and turn it on and walk away. I've also been testing the Santa 727, which is not quite out yet in the US. Maybe it will be out by the time you're watching this video. And, you know, it just kind of depends. Like, what's your favorite pair of shoes, right? I have many different juicers, and my favorite juicer is the one that's going to be best at doing the task at hand. What is your number one blender? So my number one blender is, at present time, I use the Blendtec DC Stealth X blender. It's an $1,800 blender coupled with the Blendtec Vacuum blending system. Now you could buy the Blendtec Stealth X blender currently available. It's expensive if you could find it. They barely make them as far as I'm aware. But you cannot buy the Blendtec Vacuum blending system because of, I talked about it earlier, it's probably not going to be available to the public. So you can't get that. So back up after that would be the Dynapro Vacuum Blender, Dynapro 2250. All right, 6, what is your source of passion for your life for sharing your knowledge? I mean, it's just one of my goals in life is to just share what I'm doing with people, and more importantly, for when I have kids, so that they could watch Daddy and learn everything he knew, you know, and they won't have to go through the school hard knocks like I have done. I wish my dad would have taught me all this stuff that I know and that I share and teach. Also, I truly believe that, you know, as much as many people idolize money, money is not the most important thing in our lives. You know, other people are. Everything that you are going to have, you know, in life is going to come from somebody else. And, you know, one of the sayings that I like is, you know, help thy fellow man. And, I mean, what else do we have in our lives than to help our fellow man and to, you know, get, you know, testimonials and compliments like I did from the first, you know, question today. Just like, it's so... It just means a lot to me when I'm able to help somebody just through my videos. I never even talked to them personally. And I could make a difference in the world. And I think that's really what is the most important to me, is that I want to make a difference in the world with my life, to know that I mattered. And I know I'm helping at least a few people out there. Thank God. And that's the other thing, you know, the other thing is I am grateful to be alive because I was given a second chance at life. I almost lost my life when I was in my 20s. In the hospital, and I made promises, you know, I prayed and stuff, and I'm like, if I get out of here, I'm gonna live more in service in my life. So that's one of my life goals, to live in service. And I feel that all the time I put into videos, making content and sharing my knowledge is, you know, me living in service to help others. And I think we all should be living in service to some extent in the way you see fit, you know, to help other people, whether that's, you know, support a charity, or whether it's to, you know, talk to your friends and help them with their, you know, with their diet and their health, or whatever it is, you know, helping somebody cross the street, giving somebody some food when they can't afford it. I mean, whatever. We all need to help each other because sure as heck, you know, I mean, so many people are just like out for themselves these days, in my opinion, which is sad. And, you know, it's not doing good for the people of the planet or the planet. Let's see. 7, will you collaborate more? So that, I mean, will I collaborate more with other YouTubers? I mean, I try to collaborate whenever I'm able with other YouTubers, you know, as long as I'm not like going significantly out of my way to do so. I've done some good collabs lately with Raw Food Romance, and that's been really fun. Number 8, do you take supplements? Yes, I do take supplements. I take enzymes, I take probiotics, I take a B12 sometimes, I take an allergy thing, I take quercetin, yeah, I take an immune boosting supplement, I take phytoplankton supplements. I take some probiotic supplements. I take a bunch of supplements. I've covered those in previous episodes before. Number 9, how do you manage stress? So I like to do like my morning meditation, which is when I kind of like relax under my red light and increase my blood circulation, and that really relaxes me. I'm striving to do more mindfulness, and I'm not quite there yet. And the other way I manage stress is I just try to just go out in nature. You know, yesterday I went for a hike. Today I've been out in my garden all day, and just to see all the green. I mean, you can see some of the green around me. It's just amazing to just be out in nature, literally in my garden of green, like literally in the desert, which is kind of funny. And then let's see, 10. What charities do you support? So in the past I did support like PETA. And then I supported them once, and then they put me on their mailing list, and they wouldn't stop sending me, you know, solicitations. And they, more importantly, they sold my name and address to like other related charities. So I'm like, man, this is not cool. So I'm like, take me off your email list, and I stopped supporting them. So here's the thing, like, I'm not 100% confident in a lot of charities because I'm kind of wondering where my money goes. So, you know, I'm much rather apt to, you know, live in service and help my fellow man out there by making these videos. And also, like, if I see somebody in need, you know, I may just, you know, help them out and give them something that will help them, especially, you know, if I have extra stuff, you know. And I think that goes further than supporting a charity. That goes to this administration work, or, you know, you don't know where the money goes. And I'm, you know, if I had a charity that I knew that was solid and I knew my money was going to actually go help for something, I'd probably likely do it if it's a cause I believe in, but I haven't had time to research any of those. So yeah, that's the answer. And that's the end of this month's Q&A. If you guys enjoyed this Q&A, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Also be sure to share this video with somebody else you think it could help. Also be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on new and upcoming episodes that come out every 5 to 7 days. You never know where I'll show up or what you'll be learning on my YouTube channel. And make sure you click the little bells to get notified as my new videos come out. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. Past episodes are a wealth of knowledge, over 600 episodes at this time on this YouTube channel dedicated to teach you guys all about eating a more nutrient-dense, fruit and vegetable-dominated diet so that you can get healthier. So with that, my name is John Kohler with okraw.com. We'll see you next time, and until then, remember, keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables. They're always the best.